Now we should be good. There we go. I can see all the things that I need to see. All right. So, yeah, it's your girl, Dime Smith. You are tuned into Making Moguls. And I'm really excited because today I wasn't actually supposed to even have a guest. But surprise, surprise, we have one anyway. So, as you know, every Monday, 7 p.m., we are on Extreme 104 FM for the Making Mogul Show. We come on live every week to talk to different industry, the movers and the shakers and different industries, to just talk about their vision, talk about their journey, talk about everything that they have going on. So I'm really excited today to have someone to talk about some taxes because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know. My mother's been doing my taxes since I was like 18. Okay, all I know is the paper comes in the mail and I send it to her. That's it. But we got an actual professional in the building who's going to tell us all the things that we need to know. So I just want to, give a nice, kind welcome to Azeem in the building.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you as well.
Of course, representing JGA Tax Services. How you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm good. It's a little cold, but you get used to it.
It is. Let me tell you, this week is better than last week. Okay, because it was freezing last week. This week is cold.
Yeah.
But last week, it was freezing.
We happy it's a little warm, but
right. It ain't warm at all. Right? Not at all. But listen, we're here, we're inside, we're alive, and we're still grinding. So all is well.
happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming last minute. We try to overplan all the time, and sometimes things just come together exactly the way they are supposed to. Right. So, yeah.
Right where we have to be.
Exactly. So today, guys, we're going to be talking, obviously, about taxes, but we're also going to be talking about OPM. You know what OPM is?
Excuse me?
Do you know what OPM stands for? No?
For
other people's money.
Oh.
We're going to be talking about how to structure your business for funding using other people's money in order to build your business and build your brand. Okay, so a little bit of that. Like I said, we're starting a little bit behind schedule, so some of the things that I wanted to speak on today we're not going to get to, but we're going to get to the great stuff. So first, I like to start off the show with identifying our wins, right? So give me one win from this past week.
From this past week?
Yes. And it could be a small win, it could be a big win.
It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And a win is a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win. Oh, let's see. From this past week. We finally got some merchandise for the company. So that's probably
okay.
A win. We got some shirts now, some polos.
Nice.
So we'll get that out to you soon. So,
awesome.
Yeah, definitely win. Thank you for my boys for the hookup. So,
okay, boys.
Yeah, right. He's in right here, actually, James and our friend Manny.
Oh, shout out to James.
Rab Entertainment, yes. So they're gonna supply everything, and they'll supply all your needs as well too if you have any clothing needs.
Perfect. That's dope. Yeah, maybe I need to speak to you because it's so funny. My win is actually very, very similar. Okay. It's pretty much the same win. So I reconnected with somebody that I don't even know how we found each other, but we connected on Facebook like last year or 2 years ago, and we were supposed to do some business. We didn't, and that's fine because, divine timing. So he actually called me last week, and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, yeah, it's the guy. Remember we spoke about, the print shop and all this? And we had a great conversation, and he actually does embroidery. So shout outs to Swego Sway. I'm going to most likely be having him handle the luxury merch for the radio show. So really excited. That was my win this week. I'm trying to
shout outs this week.
Yeah. See, listen. If y'all needed a sign to start your merch line or to start your clothing line or anything like that, this was your sign. Go ahead, go do it. All right, so we got some great wins this week. I want to actually start out talking about structuring your business to get other people's money for funding. So I feel like everyone should know by now, especially if you follow my content, the number one way of getting, getting funding or using money at all for your, oh, actually, let me share the live on Facebook. I forgot. Yeah, so the number one thing that you should always do when funding a project or funding some sort of funding some sort of project or campaign or anything like that through for your business, sorry, is with other people's money. Right, so there's a couple of different ways to do that. So we're talking about angel investors, microloans, VCs, which are venture capitalists. You could also go the traditional route and get bank loans and, cash advances and that type of stuff. Those are a lot harder to get, especially when you're starting out. I've noticed that a lot of people that are looking to fund some sort of project or they're looking to fund some sort of campaign or build a new business, you're not necessarily going to qualify for a bank loan or a credit line or anything like that. So that's where like angel investors and microloans and that sort of thing comes in. You can also do pre-sales and monetary factors. So say you're in the lane of events, right? What I learned to do was I would use things like vendors. I know that a lot of showcase promoters, they use, I guess they charge music artists. There's a lot of different factors that you could put into when you do an event that'll actually allow you to raise some money for the project before, actually having to come out of pocket. I've noticed a lot of very successful clothing lines, they go the pre-sale route. So they'll get mock-ups made, they'll use some sort of pre-sale system on their website, and with that they'll go ahead and start to collect some money beforehand, and then when they do the launch, then people got to wait for it to actually get to them, but you didn't actually have to come out of pocket, or they drop ship. There's also fundraising and crowdfunding, and then there's sponsorships. So a lot of that, we'll talk about over the coming weeks, on the show. But today I want to speak solely towards angel investors and microloans because I have a webinar coming up on Wednesday where me and one of my clients will actually be hosting a pitch session on Zoom again. You guys may have heard me and VJ speak about this in the first week or two of the show, where we talked about an angel investor pitch session that he was a part of. So really excited about that. But when we talk about structuring a business, most people don't even know what that means. So, from your experience, Azeem, what do you feel are some of the key factors that a business needs to make sure they have in place in order to get some sort of, funding or just have their structure put together properly for their business?
Well, the first thing you want to do is you always want to be neat. Whenever you're looking for any kind of loan, let's say, I know you mentioned the small business loan, for example. Besides your credit score and the money you have, they want to see some kind of consistency. If you have a plan, if you have, I'm not sure if you have any offices that are filled, with your business. If you're just the CEO in every position, have record keeping. Everything like that will definitely help when you want to, get money from other people to fund your dreams. definitely have a plan. That's the first thing I'm definitely gonna say.
Yes. He's definitely speaking on exactly the notes that I have as well. That was one of the top ones. You have to have a plan. We talk about that so much on this show because a lot of people, they just have a great idea, or they have something that they want to do and they're like, all right, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna just do it.
It's not
And
gonna all come
that's
together.
right. That's okay for right now. But when we talk about longevity and talk about actually building empires and building legacies, that's not how you do it.
It's not gonna work. It's not
It's
gonna
not gonna work.
Yes, you need to have some plan, and they love to see that. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely first thing.
So when we talk about a plan, we're talking about what exactly is it that your business is about? What purpose does it, what answer does it what question does it answer? What purpose does it serve? These are the things that you need to know. You also need to know, okay, well, in order to start, I need this type of capital. And these are the exact things that I need to pay for. That's where, okay, so we did the pitch session the first time. And being that the max microloan that he was willing to spend out was $5,000, everyone asked for $5,000. But when we asked, like, well, what are you actually going to use it on? They couldn't tell
Yes,
us.
they can tell you.
They couldn't tell us. And I'm like,
Already starting off a bad note.
right, guys, you're making me look bad.
They're gonna want to know that you have a way to pay that back.
That as well, definitely. That's really important because so there a lot of people had asked me like, well, do we have to have a certain amount of sales or anything like that? And it's like, no, not necessarily, but you need consistency. You need consistent sales. That's what's more important.
Yes.
I feel like
Revenue, return of ROI,
hmm
return of interest.
they need to know that once they give you this money, you have a plan. Like he said, you have a plan on how you're going to pay it back. Period.
If you're getting a loan just for anything, car, house, they want the first thing they ask you is, are you employed?
Right.
They want to make sure you're bringing something in to pay for this. So it's almost the same thing with anything else. Keep structure, have a plan, just be as thorough as you can be. You understand it's not going to be perfect, but have some kind of go-to.
Right.
Let's say that a go-to for now.
Exactly. So a lot of lenders I've noticed they want between 6 months to a year in business. And it's funny because my client specifically doesn't necessarily need you to have all of the paperwork correct, because a lot of people have side hustles, but their side hustle is doing really, really well. They're making all these thousands of dollars a week or thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And it's like, okay, well, I haven't even got my LLC yet. And it's like, all right, well, I mean, it's not legal, but like it's still a fundable project, because at that point you would assume, okay, maybe you just haven't prioritized legalizing the business, and this, lump sum of money will help you take it to that next level, right? So yeah, six months to a year in business, a proof of income and sales, a business plan, and a strong business profile. So what does that mean? We love to start a business, go pay the little $200 in New York. Everywhere else is a little cheaper, but the little 200 and what is it, $215 to LLC to just get the paperwork, because everything else is more expensive. But for the LLC portion, it's 200 and something dollars in New York. But we put like our home address because we don't have an office, or we don't have. No, stop doing that. That is not the answer. Don't do that. I mean, you can do that because for reasons that I'm sure Azeem will let you know. But but if you can help it, let's not do that, because when it comes to building business credit and all of that, it's not the best way to help you do that. But we're not talking about business credit today. You want to have a website. Now, when I finally LLC, I was like, a website? I've been running this business for like 6 years without a web. I don't have a website, but you actually should have a website.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You know what it was? It was because I didn't really use the internet a lot. Like I was doing everything on social media. So at a point I felt like, well, if everybody's pretty much on social media, what's the point of a website? But no, you actually do need a I grew up, y'all. I grew up. Took me some time, but you know.
Domain name, it's all right.
Right, exactly. Now we got, DoubleAProductions.com. Okay.
What was that?
So yeah, so we have the LLC, we have the I'm sorry, the website, your paperwork, obviously. So I say LLC a lot because I have an LLC, but there's a bunch of different business structures that you can have that are not LLC that may be a better fit to the type of business that you have. So make sure you do your research,
Seriously,
please.
so many different options you can go. That's cool.
Right.
It just really it depends on you.
Right, exactly. And sometimes uh sometimes, like I said, the LLC is the way, sometimes it's not. But what I've noticed is a lot of people are just getting them just cuz, and they're not really doing their due diligence to make sure that they're straight. So yeah, make sure you do your research. You need to have a phone number. I still have not done this part. Your personal number, though, it is a write-off. Azeem, we'll get into that. I don't do taxes, okay? This is not my lane. I'm just prepping the conversation for him. You know what I'm saying? But get a business number, because the business number can go to your phone. Like there's different products that you can get where it automatically, routes to your cell phone or whatever, so you can answer your business number. But that's also a big one that companies look at. These tier 2 vendors, tier 1 vendors, when we get into business credit. I be all over the place. I'm not gonna hold y'all. There's so much information. I just want to give so much value on this show, but I try to.
Yeah, you can't give it all the same
I
time.
know. You can't. You can't. So far we got address, website, your paperwork, your phone number, your social media, right? So I've seen people start, cupcake mafia 718, and then that's the name of their business. But then their social media says fancy cakes 101 or something like that. No. Don't do that. Come on, guys. You gotta have some sort of cohesiveness with your brand. It has to make sense right now.
Branding matters.
It does. It makes a big difference, because what I've learned is what happens is when they're looking and they're paying attention to what you got going on. Oh, did this thing pause on me? What happens is when they're looking you up to decide whether or not to, fund you or extend some sort of, help to your business, they're looking at those things. We need to know, if your website, your business entity, your business name, your social media all matches, because they need to be able to find you easily. If it's too hard, or it's kind of all over the place, it's not going to work out, because no big business is doing that when they're reviewing your application, because there's 500 more that they need to look at today.
Yes, patent everything. Make sure you have the exact name.
That is a fact. And then again, so as far as the business plan portion of things, just like I said, knowing your market, know the question that your business is answering. And it's funny because I've noticed that some people, when I speak to them, they're like, well, I just wanted a clothing line. It doesn't answer any questions. Like, I guess I know who my target market is because my target market is me. But, I don't know what makes me or my company special. Well, that's okay. You should figure it out. But that's okay because there's something about you and what you're doing that may be different from the next person, but you have to be able to identify that when somebody asks you. Am I somewhere in the lane of it? Am I close to being right? All right.
Of course. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen Shark Tank, but
Yes.
basically the whole show is you showing them you have a plan and you
Yup.
have everything except funding.
Right. Exactly. I need some money.
Right. Right. Throw it my way. I'll make it back and I'll give it back. That's the
Right.
point of looking for a loan. Remember, they want it back with interest.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
And I've seen some plans that um didn't necessarily show how they're gonna give it back. And then they also are like, okay, well, I know I'm gonna make a couple dollars, so I could pay it back, but it's the interest part that's kind of like scaring them,
Need
and
to
it's
cover
like,
that too.
yeah, right. Like nobody gives anything out for free, especially money. But the goal is to use other people's money so you can hold on to some of your money. So what I wanted to do was kind of get into how taxes work, how that feeds into structure, because when I think about the how I think about them working together is basically your sales, right? Knowing where your sales came from, being able to look at your numbers, being able to show what you spend your money on, all of that feeds into your lane. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you. You got this.
Thank you. Thank you. First thing I do want to say when we say that, when we get into this is, like you said, all structure is everything. Um, when you, let's say you successfully get the loan, which of course will be taxed, everyone listening
Yep.
will be taxed. You need to make that money work for you. If
Right.
you're gonna start, let's see, I'm not sure, um, what's those businesses where they take care of your lawns and everything?
Oh, like a landscaping business.
Landscaping business. I mean, you're gonna need things. You're gonna need a truck. You're gonna need leaf blowers. You're gonna need rakes. All of this, which you will
Hmm.
get with your loan successfully if you get it, of course. From there, that is where you need to make it bring in revenue.
Right.
Now, there's different ways. If you talk to someone here at JGA like myself, we can try to get you some money back for some of those things that you spent to make your business run. But you need to make it work. Those first few years are definitely very important. Um, After you bring in some revenue and you talk to someone, a tax professional, doesn't have to be me, but anyone at all, then they'll point you in the right direction and say, hey, this is how much you're going to have to pay back for the loan, and this is how much you have that we got you back for the 10 leaf blowers that you had to get.
Right.
Because you're going to need them. I mean,
Hmm.
you're going to be raking it by yourself. You could do that too. I'll get you some money back there, but the
Listen.
leaf blowers is going to help, isn't it? So definitely keep track of everything. Um, it could be as small as being an Uber driver. Your
Mm.
business. Jay Z said it. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. So
Yes.
if you are an Uber driver, you're considered a business. So you're gonna have to
Hmm.
file, those that way as well. You won't need a loan. Maybe you need a car. That's
Right.
another way to think about it. You might need a loan for a car to be a successful Uber driver. So these are all things you have to know. Number one, you're gonna have to bring in revenue, and you're gonna have to keep strict record keeping. It's the only way you're gonna get as much money back tax wise and save yourself for your first 2 years. Because, like most people say, when you start a business, the first couple of years you may not see much.
Right. True.
So you want to make sure you move those first 2 years, you step right and you get that loan.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's what I'll touch on for now.
What do you feel like? How? What is an easy way for people to track their expenses and their income, because I find it okay. So I try. Every year I try. I start off the year with a nice little old spreadsheet. Everything is laid out so nice. I got my
New
little
Year's
dates
resolution.
in it. Yeah. Listen, new year, new business. You know what I'm saying? But
CEO.
right, but it don't always work out that way. I swear by like week 3, I'm like, dang,
Mm.
I still gotta, and that's week 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's a couple, there's probably a lot of entrepreneurs that's a lot more organized than I am, that make it a couple months, but still, like, what do you think are some ways that you can tell people to, track better?
I would definitely have, I mean, if you don't have an account for your business, you should definitely have an account for your business.
Right.
Anytime you swipe that card, they're going to keep that in that statement for
That's true.
forever. All you have to do is get the bank statements for someone like myself, and I'll be able to say, all right, you spend X, Y, and Z on almost everything. There's going to be things that you spend out of cash pocket. You won't be able to track those as well.
Right.
But we'll just put those on the miscellaneous. We'll see what we can do. But as long as you have a receipt for most things, I would definitely have it set to your bank account. Another way is, I know, like, being a Lyft driver and Uber driver has become so big in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's definitely apps where you can track your mileage. That definitely is because if you're driving, you want to look that and you want to put that on your taxes as well.
Right.
Everyone, if you're driving because of your job, or if you're driving because that's your line of work, then you definitely would want to put those as well. I'm not sure if your car is up to date, if it's like newer than 2016 or so. They'll track your mileage for you right on your dashboard.
Right.
Anything like that will work. It doesn't have to be paper receipts. Please, we all hate paper receipts. All do, trust me.
Yo, nah, let me tell you, my family has a trucking business. And I remember one year, we haven't like lived in the same place since I was like 19, right? So I remember one time they're like, all right, yeah, tax season is coming. We need to log all of these receipts. I'm like, all right, cool. I could do it because I'm a numbers person. So I like to deal with numbers. I just don't like to have to, like every day remember to go in that system. You know what I'm saying? That's not really my thing. But I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I can do it. This lady showed up to my house with a shoebox of receipts. I was like,
Headache.
what? What do you want me to do with this?
I don't want it. I mean,
Oh.
I'll take it if you have it, but please, it's 2022. We gotta be better. We gotta be better. But if you have paper receipts, of course, keep those as well. I mean, it sucks to say, but if that whole shoebox, she did it.
It took me a while.
I mean, of course.
It took me a while.
Were they still printed? Was the ink still on it?
Yo, some of them, I'm going to say about 20%, 25. No.
You just guessing.
I was just guessing. I'm like, okay, this looks like it says March 27th? What? I can't even see the amount this was. Yeah. And then that you gotta take off certain things like that don't apply.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, I was highlighting stuff. I'm like, oh dang, the highlighter is taking the ink off. It was bad.
Trust me, I know what you're talking about. It's tough.
It really
is. Yeah. One thing I'll say is also consistency. If you're driving, for work and it's gonna take 10 miles to go there and 10 miles to come back every day, it's going to take, 20 miles a day. You do that 5 days a week. That's 100 miles that you're spending. So, every week it's 100 miles. So just as long as, like we said, structure. When you're making a business, if it's 10 miles there, 10 miles back, you should already have that in your mind if you want to be successful, that is. So just keep track of that as well. That's another way as well.
Okay. I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on it. So at JGA, do you only do business taxes, or you do personal taxes as well?
Personal and business.
Ah.
So whatever you need, give us a call. We'll share all our information as well. It's me and my other partner.
Okay.
Been doing this for well over 5 years. He used to work for H&R Block. They taught him well of some 2 other tax firms, and decided to start his business a few years ago, like most of us. And his wing. He's taught me everything, and
Nice.
that's where we are now. And I've been helping him with his taxes, and to the point now we're looking on to branch out. You know,
Mm.
we're based on Long Island, so we want to branch out a little bit. And
Mhm.
gladful that that we brought together. Thank you, AJ,
Yes.
wherever he is. But yeah, that was one thing I look at as well is that this is also a business.
Right.
That's one thing I look at when I'm trying to help everyone with their businesses.
Mhm.
I'm also in a business myself, so I'm in your position,
Right.
and I'm really not that old. So I'm right there with you, understanding everything you're going through. So definitely give us a call. We do personal and business taxes. Even if you don't know if your business, trust me, might be a business.
Yo, let me tell you. Okay, so I remember when the well, I'm sure everybody remembers when the pandemic started, but a couple months in when they started doing the SBA loans
Mm,
and stuff. So a lot of people were getting it because they were making money through what could technically be considered a business, but it wasn't structured as a business. So they would just kind of like DBA it as themselves.
yeah.
Um,
See how simple it is?
oh my gosh, like where? See, I don't know where my brain was when this was happening because it should have been me, but it's cool because we make it happen. But but I remember when all of that stuff was coming up. So with the SBA loans, because I heard that there's another emergency business assistance loan or something that's coming up again now. With those type of things, how are those factored into your taxes though?
When you get a small business loan,
Mm-hmm.
well, anytime you get a loan, they're gonna tax it on you.
Right.
That would definitely come into your income. You definitely got money from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely going to tax you. And that's why I'm saying put that money to use because they're going to say, hey, you got this money. Okay, great. We're going to have to take a little bit, a little shaving off.
Right.
So you're definitely going to report it as your income and you're going to have to pay interest on it as well. So when you get a loan, make sure you have a plan because you're going to
Yes.
be paying, with that first year or two, you're going to be paying some of it back. Not all of it, of course,
Right.
depending on how you structured it. But yeah, when you get that loan, you're gonna report it. There's no way there's no way to avoid
Yeah,
that.
you have to.
You have to report it. So you're gonna definitely make some money. That first 2 years, make some money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, I don't know anything about taxes. So when is tax season? Like it starts
Today.
next month?
Today.
Today? Like literally today.
Literally today.
Oh, that's crazy. Look at that.
Yes, this is a real special for you guys.
Right.
First day of the tax season. It usually ends April 15th.
Okay.
Every year, we're not sure. It might be extended.
Yeah, especially with this pandemic.
And the great thing is, even though you guys got the early jump, first day of the year,
Mm-hmm.
for the tax season, even if you missed that April 15th, we can still file for you. So, if you're one of those procrastinators like I used to be, definitely, definitely remember that if you miss it, you're not, you're not out of it.
I can't hold you. I will probably be one of your more difficult clients. Okay, let's talk
You
about
said
this. I thought of a question.
Okay.
So for me,
Mm-hmm.
as you can tell, I'm kind of, all over the place. And so I do have a business account.
Okay.
I use it
Mm-hmm.
kind of, but I mostly pay rent for my creative studio out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of my expenses are normally paid off of like my personal credit cards and things like that. So like, does that count or do I kind of have to eat that?
Nope. Of course that counts.
Oh,
Of course that counts.
I thought it would have to come from the business account.
No, it does not. No, they understand you're gonna
teaching
use
me
money
stuff,
different
guys.
ways. So trust me, no, we can definitely make that work for you.
Okay.
As long as you have a rough number, if you have some receipts, anything like that, it doesn't have to all come from one place.
Listen, most of it is on the internet in my emails and
See,
stuff.
that works.
Amazon.
That's the great thing about 2022. Filing taxes is a lot easier than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Than
I think the only paper receipts I literally have are like, do does the MTA count if I buy a Metro card?
It could count if you're using that to get to
Right.
some kind of.
Listen, I'm
Yeah.
only coming here and going home. Going to my studio, going home.
We can do
Only leave my
both.
house for business.
Okay.
So okay, all my Metro card receipts, they're all over my house, but I'll find them.
Okay. Put it in a shoebox.
Right.
Put it in a shoebox. You can make that work. It doesn't have to be from one place. Like I said, just have some kind of number, some kind of receipts. They understand it's not going to be exact. How many times
Right.
you've been outside and have to buy something with cash. Like
Right. I heard food doesn't count though, unless you're like going to a restaurant or something with a client. Then you can kind of, let's talk about write-offs.
Okay.
That's what I want to talk about,
Wow.
because I kind of glanced over your page and saw a little bit of information that I do already know, but I want you to kind of go into, one, what is a write-off, and two, what are some popular like, is popular the right word? Like things that people don't know that they can write off for their business.
Okay. There's many different write-offs. A write-off is what some people would call an expense to your business, something that you have to purchase for your business to run. The basic way that it breaks down, it has to be either ordinary or necessary. Ordinary means that you have to do this. There's no way you're going to do your job without this. And necessary may not be, that's a little misleading. It doesn't have to be required, but it helps your business. It's helpful. The number one example is if you sell cars and you buy yourself a Lamborghini. It's not, you don't need it to.
That ain't ordinary.
It's not ordinary, but when people see you driving that Lamborghini, they're gonna say, hey, you might be able to get some money back from that Lamborghini if you got money to buy a Lamborghini. Hey, talk to me anyway. But there's definitely different ways. So
I'm pretty sure Azeem just said that we should all get Lamborghinis. That's what I heard just now.
Dream. Let's put us on camera. It's the dream. It's the dream, baby.
That is lit. What else? What other things?
Different write-offs. I know a lot of people work out of their homes. That could be your write-off. That's definitely one of the more popular ones. But there's a lot of things that people don't know.
So like my rent, I can
Are you
I
working
can
out of
write.
your home?
I mean, yes.
You said that with a question.
Most of the time, I am at home and I am always working. So
We have to look at everything, but we might be able to. That's one of the more difficult ones. But yes, that could be a write-off. There's a lot of other things. Just one question with the meal. One thing people aren't sure about. You can definitely write off some meals. It may not have to be in a restaurant, but you can't get all the money back.
Right.
That's the one thing when people come and say, hey, yeah, no, I took my client out to, the 40/40. Great for that, but, you're not going to get the whole bill back, right? So that's one of the more...
No alcohol, guys.
Yeah.
I know that. I know you cannot write off alcohol.
Meals. You're going to get the steak and the lobster, go ahead, but be careful because you're not going to get all of it back. So
Right.
That's one of the more things I have to tell people. Yeah, you're going to get some money back, but you won't get all of it back, especially for the meals.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Because I know some people was thinking about, taking their clients to Philippe Chow every day. Or, what about like basketball tickets?
Basketball tickets? We can make that work.
Like courtside, I want to really impress this client.
Ooh.
So I'm going to buy these $500.
See, so now we're getting back to it. It's not, ordinary. It's not technically necessary, but
Right.
that client might be into that lifestyle. I'm not sure what kind of business you're running. The more information you give someone like myself, we'll be able to work with that.
Right.
This person is, I'm not sure exactly what you do for a living, but if you're an event coordinator or something like that, that's something that might fit in there. You need to be in that business. As long as it lines up, I might be able to work for you.
Look, we trying to get all the loopholes. Okay, now.
That's exactly why I started doing it, because
Really?
I started doing my taxes on TurboTax, like most of us.
Like my mom.
It's very cheap.
Right.
If you don't have to pay anything, sometimes what do you pay, like $30 or so sometimes.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't pay it.
so it's very cheap, but
Right.
the thing with TurboTax is it's not a live person. It's not gonna ask you all these questions that we're asking.
Right.
You're not gonna know to put X in the box where Y is. It's not gonna tell you all those things. So even though it'll be free and you'll get some money back, if you had came and talked to someone who's certified and you paid
Right.
us the extra dollar, we might be able to get you sometimes even twice as more.
Oh, okay.
So when I was doing it, I just felt like I was like, why am I only getting X amount of money? Like, what is this? Am I doing something wrong? Like,
Yeah.
so then I started studying it and started finding out. I was like, wow, I could have
Very
been doing this
interesting.
the entire time.
Right. Exactly. Wow.
Educate yourself. That's it. That's all it is.
And so personal and business tax season is at the same time?
That is.
Like it's all one?
I mean, business taxes sometimes even start earlier, but personal started today
Okay.
until April 15th. You guys have 3 months. You guys have 3 months. Basically, the IRS is like making it so, hey, you guys have no excuse not to file.
Right.
It's right after Christmas. They know what they're doing. It's
Of
right after Christmas.
course.
They know you're broke. They know you're broke. They say, hey, take this, hour and a half, 2 hours, and do it yourself. That'll be fun. But if you sit down with someone like me, I could do it for you less time and get you more money. And don't wait until April 14th to call.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
still be there though.
That is me. I'll be like, all right, I know we spoke about this, when it started, but I'm ready now. I know it ends tomorrow, but we are here
Right,
together.
deadline at midnight.
Let's make it happen. Is it normal that a business would pay money back for taxes?
Yes,
Usually.
especially in your first few years. There's different ways that you can try to minimize that. But yes, this first few years, it's definitely a recurring thing. You might have to pay some money depending on how much you made.
I was about to say, is there like a minimum you have to make in order to?
No, there's no minimum.
Okay.
It's actually very.
I know usually I think I think to get a return, it was like 6,000,
Mm,
not six. I don't know. You're the professional.
it
I mean,
it
I don't know
really
that.
depends on the situation. I mean, you technically don't even have to have any, capital. You still should file.
Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
it is.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right. I'll dig. I'll dig into the shoebox and
Oh gosh. Okay.
find that information because I started I okay, so I legalized Dime Life Productions. That's my event management company. I legalized November of 2020, and so now, like, this was technically my first, like, actual year in business, even though I've been doing this for, like, 12 years.
Hey,
Um,
experience.
yeah, but I went kind of crazy after I got the bank account. I was like, oh, I'm official now. I'm gonna go get me a creative studio. I need to, purchase all these things. We need couches and podcast equipment and cameras and all types of stuff. So I bought all types of stuff, and didn't make what I spent.
Yes.
So that was kind of the thing for me. Like, well, do I still have to, report all this if I didn't make what I spent? But okay, I'm understanding that I do.
You do. Well, here's the thing: when you do, and you talk to someone, like myself, and we say, you bought a couch, you bought all these mics, you bought
Right.
well, give me all those receipts to see what I can do for you.
Right.
That's the great thing that something like TurboTax won't do.
Right.
So even if you're not sure, call someone.
I will be on your line. I heard you got a deal for new clients. What's that about?
Yes, we have a deal for new clients. We have more deals coming, but the one that's concrete right now is 10% off. If you're a new client, we give you 10% off of your
Nice.
return, and of course we'll do that for you. Hopefully, get it back to you within 3 weeks to a month, and you're good to go. You're done before even April gets here.
Right. Because that's important.
Give us a call. I'm sure we'll share everything. But yes, 10% for all new clients.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's really great information. So we've talked about a whole lot of taxes. We've talked about structure your business in order to receive funding, and using other people's money to fund your business, which is extremely important. So, real quick before we end off, I want to talk about Wednesday. So, one of my clients is an angel investor, or he's looking to be an angel investor. So we got him investing in a couple of projects and a couple of businesses. And on Wednesday, we're doing a pitch session. So for those of you that were interested in signing up for the pitch session, first of all, make sure you DM me on Instagram at the Making Mogul Show, so I can just directly send you the link so you can register and get the Zoom information and all of that. We're doing two. So one is at 10 a.m., one is at 8 p.m. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me, what is a pitch session? Like, what are you talking about? So, an angel investor is someone who basically, I won't say gives you money. They loan you money, for your business, and you obviously have to pay that back. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, with interest, of course. But they have some sort of, statement in your business. So you have the option of giving them equity or giving them interest, or, however you guys structure that deal. So what we're doing on Wednesday is my lender is looking to invest in someone's product business. So the first time around, we didn't make that clear. Okay. So we had a lot of conversations based around people's events and all these other things that they wanted to do that doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to make some money back. Um, we are looking for tri-state based product businesses that have been in business for at least 6 months. So it doesn't have to be a super long time. We are preferring that you have some sort of sales. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Like, we need to know that you have actually sold something in order to be sure that, he'll get his money back. Um, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot of sales. The goal is for us to come into your business as a silent investor. We don't need to be an equity partner. It would be nice, but it depends on the business. Now, if you have a business that's making, a whole lot of money, and you need, $5,000 to buy new equipment so that you can make things faster, or so that you can invest in more inventory because you have some projects that you have to decline because you can't fulfill the order, things like that, then that's different. But we are willing to listen to pitches from businesses that may not be there yet. You got a couple of sales, you have a great idea, but you don't have the marketing. Okay, well, we have a marketing team for that. So instead of funding, you don't need funding, you need marketing. And that's why we want to have these conversations, because it helps you really identify the things that you need. Instead of us having to give you any money, we'll give you our team. And in return for our team, we'll talk about, maybe a delayed invoice, or, you know, some sort of situation that helps you. Our goal is to help you. So, if you are interested in pitching on Wednesday, and when I say pitching, all I'm asking from you is to know the name of your business, because I've had that. People tell me, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know
I'm not
what."
there on a name yet.
Like, what? How are you asking for funding? You're not ready then.
Who would I make this check out to?
What conversation are we having right now? Like, no. Okay. So, know the name of your business. Know the purpose that your business is fulfilling. If it answers any questions, know that. And have your plan together. We're not going to ask you for your full business plan, but we need to be able to walk away from the conversation confident that we should give you the money that you're asking for. And then also, don't come asking for $5,000, $4,000. Don't ask for $100 if you don't know what you need to spend the money on. That's extremely important.
Yeah, have a plan. Have some kind of plan.
Please.
And make it work. Because
Make
like you
it
said, you're going to have to pay it back with interest. So
yes, with interest.
But
Okay.
this is an opportunity. Basically, this is your opportunity.
Right, exactly, and it's free.
Okay.
We're not charging for you to join the. You make walk away with some money.
For your business.
We got a couple right for you, right? You got to put the disclaimers on there, like for your business, not for you to go, buy that Lamborghini.
Hey, I think we all deserve one.
Yes, I don't think I want one though.
No, it's not my dream car.
Yeah. Okay, we on the same page. It's just easier to connect with people when you say Lamborghini. Like it's just, okay, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, we all know what a Lambo is.
Exactly. All right, bet. So, we started a little late today, but we had a very strong conversation. I feel like people are walking away with a lot of value and a lot of information. So tell them where they can find you and JGA Tax Services so that they can get some help.
If you need any help, if you have any questions, hit us up at jgataxservices.com. We also have an Instagram as well and Facebook. Go ahead, like the page. You can message us there. You can find all of our phone numbers there as well. And you can even find tools there to get your preparation started. Make our jobs a little easier, but
I have one last question.
okay.
What do you do between April? Let's say you get a couple late people, okay, and it marry on a little bit into May. All right, fine. What do you do between May and January?
Oh, myself.
Yes.
Oh, yes, for myself. Well, that's vacation time. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was about to say you get to vacation all the months. I need to go be a tax preparer.
I really do wish, but no, I actually start working again on taxes probably around November.
Oh, okay.
Every year the tax laws do change. For instance, the gas mileage that they give you back every year, that goes up or down a cent.
So you're learning in that time frame.
Yes.
Love it.
So from November to April, May, that's when I'm working.
Got you.
And then the other months, vacation, kind of.
Fakecation.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
He's fakecationing, guys. All right, that's awesome. Well, this was a great conversation. I really appreciate you coming. Shout outs to VJ. He really wanted to make sure that we had a tax person on the show, and it was really important to us to get somebody on here before March because that's when we have availability again in our calendar for guests. So again, thank you so much, guys. Make sure you keep tuning in every Monday, 7 to 8 p.m. We are live on Extreme 104 FM. This is Making Moguls. It's your girl Dime Smith. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Making Moguls Show. I'm really excited about some things that I'm doing for Black History Month. So make sure you follow that page because I have things dropping every single day.
Hey.
Every day in February.
Okay.
So make sure y'all tune in, okay? Follow your girl at Dime Smith. That's Dime with a Y, not an I. And we outside. We out here learning all about this business-ish, okay? Go ahead.
You're so silly. All right, people. No, thank you again for having me. I just want to thank you all for listening. Again, my name's Azeem, CEO of JGA Tax Services. You can find me on Instagram, AHHHZEEM.
Okay.
JGATaxServices.com. Thank you.
Thank you. So make sure y'all stay tuned in. My homie Kanika and Spill It Entertainment is about to come up here and, rock the mic as they usually do. So stay tuned in. Extreme 104 FM. Again, it's Making Moguls, and we out.
constantly adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing, and more. Start your 30-day home